Chatting away here to our guest today, Vittorio Angelone. Am I saying that correctly?
Angelone,
yeah,
but
I wanted to make sure that was right. You're an Italian-Irish comedian.
I am indeed.
Which I love, and you've appeared on most people's feeds on the internet and whatever you might get you, and you're set to return to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with your new show, which is called You Can't Say Nothing Anymore. But it has to be said, you can't say nothing anymore. Like, you can't
yeah.
Would that be fair?
Because otherwise it just makes me sound like one of those sort of free speech comedians who actually thinks you can't say anything anymore. But I'm talking about Belfast.
Yeah. You sound like that's kind of it's political correctness gone mad.
Yes, no, that's
different
not
show.
I'm making fun of that
Yeah.
in a way. But there was somebody I met to talk about the show, and they went, "Yes, I love the title," and I went, "Oh dear, I don't think you love the title for the reasons I love the title."
Exactly, I can imagine. Because even I have to say, Vittorio, that the poster is brilliant because it's a take on the TV show Say Nothing, which is about the Patrick Radden Keefe's book, which is a take on a certain element of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. It's a pretty excellent program. I have to say, I watched it from start to finish. But your poster is tell us about the genesis of that.
So the poster, I sort of was very. It's hard to name your show because you have to name it so far in advance. So you haven't written the thing yet, and I still haven't finished writing the thing. And I have to perform it in August. Never mind make a poster. But I knew that this show was coming out. I felt like it was very trendy to be Irish, and Northern Irish particularly were very in the kind of zeitgeist.
You're right.
And they have these amazing images of Lola Pettigrew, who plays Dolores Price in the show, with her finger on her lips, and it says "Say Nothing." I thought that's a great poster.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nick it, and instead of my finger being on my lips, I'm gonna shove my finger up my nose.
And you can't say nothing anymore.
Exactly,
it's really good.
Exactly.
Like whoever got you did that. Well done. It's
Yes,
really
thank
good.
you, thank you.
Concept award goes to you.
Yeah.
But you know what I found so interesting because you probably know Anthony Boyle a bit too.
I do, and I know Lola, and
Lola.
both of them. It was funny. I was very nervous posting the poster online at first, but Anthony and Lola liked it, and so did Patrick Radden Keefe.
Did he?
I was like, yes, we did it. It's been signed off.
But you're all, apart from Patrick, who's obviously older, you're the same generation, which I find fascinating. You are topping and tailing my week with two really interesting people in terms of perspective. I started the week talking to Mary McAleese, the former president of Ireland, and in the podcast for a books podcast called The Bookshelf, and in it she talks so frankly about being a child of the Troubles, right? Living in the Ardoyne, Catholic, living in a Protestant street. Her brother was glassed and he was deaf, and then he left for dead, and then the family, they shut them up, the house up, the whole lot. So the real dark end of it. You come from a generation which is post-peace process.
Yes.
Really interesting relationship you must have with the Troubles and all of it. And then you're writing comedy. Talk to me a bit about that.
So the ceasefire baby is what
Ceasefire
we're known
babies.
as.
Yeah, how do you feel about that moniker?
It's not the nicest nickname to have for your sort of generation of people, but I guess it worked. I was born in 1996. And Good Friday is 1998. So, like, I joke in the show that for those 2 years I was involved.
What's in the prom?
Yeah, exactly. All this stuff, a lot of dirty protests.
I need to see the show already. I know it. Okay.
All that stuff. But it's this sort of bizarre thing. You grow up in, like, a lovely city. Like, you go to Belfast now, it's gorgeous. And I grew up in a nice middle class house. My parents are great and all this stuff. And then you're sort of aware there's something bubbling under the surface. There's a division. There's things going unsaid. There's things you're picking up from people whose maybe parents spoke about it more. But my parents are very much of that say nothing generation.
Interesting.
So I think in an effort to protect us from the horrors that they lived through, they don't talk to us about their childhoods at all or what they lived through, because they don't want us to reignite that. They don't want us to have to worry about that. And my parents are very good. They encouraged us to go to sort of mixed extracurricular activities, so we would meet Protestants and we wouldn't just grow up in one side of the community. And then you move to England and you see the English perspective of what Northern Ireland is. And I think there's this strange feeling, and this comes up a lot in the show, of what does it mean to be, because I'm Catholic from Northern Ireland, so we're always very comfortable being like, I'm Irish, and I'm very proud to be Irish. But I don't think that tells the whole story, because there's something culturally distinct about being from the north.
So Rory McIlroy is Northern Irish. Do you know what I mean? He plays it both ways. That sounds pejorative. It's not meant to be.
No, but I
he
know
doesn't
exactly
want to be
what
one.
you mean. And I'm trying to come to terms with this idea of what about me is Northern Irish, because it's a different thing, it's a different upbringing, and it feels like we've been given a blank canvas to paint it with, because in the past being from Northern Ireland meant the Troubles.
Yeah.
But as a generation who didn't live through that, we have to define ourselves.
Right. Enter stage left, Kneecap.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Who are causing so much
the
of
exact
conversation
same age
here.
as me, and I talk about all of that in the show, and it's so... I mean, I just think it's so exciting, and I think it's exactly what art should be.
Yeah.
Loads of people should be really uncomfortable and not sure how to take it. And there's been moments in Kneecap's over where I've gone, oh, I'm not sure about that. And there's been moments where I go, brilliant, that's absolutely class. Yeah. But there's this wave of art coming out of Ireland broadly. And I think it's such a shame the comedy's not really spoken about in those terms. Everyone goes Mescal, Kilgan, Murphy, Sally Rooney, Lankham, Fontaine, CMAT. And I'm like, yes, they're all brilliant. But there's loads of brilliant comedians coming out of Ireland. Mike Rice, Joanne McNally, like all these people making art that isn't sort of framed in the same way of this art wave coming out of the Irish scene.
You really articulated that brilliantly in a way I couldn't comprehend it, because I'm not from your generation. I'm not from Northern Ireland, but your analysis of it is, to me, spot on, because unless you come from that, unless you are a ceasefire, but let's call it for the purpose of this, who was involved for 2 years from the ages of 0 to 1 to 2, and then you just handed in your pram and said, okay, your pram is decommissioned, right? The soother was put in a bunker somewhere far, far away. Anyway, unless you're from there, you probably can't understand why it's so other, why Kneecap are so... Let's use the word punk. Some would say controversial. Some would say stirring the defecation, whatever you want to call it. Because you've just described the society that you're living in, where you'd say nothing. And now they were using it in terms of say nothing. It's there's a war going on, if you want to call it that. But you're saying it. Your folks are saying, let's just not discuss it. Yeah. So it's really crackling in the air for your generation. There's lots of there. There's lots of. It's an imperfect piece. We should say that too. Yeah. It's not a beautiful thing. We saw Ballymena last week. So just a lot going on. Yeah, and it's
and that is sort of the other meaning, if you take the title of my show much more sincerely, of like, I feel like we can't say nothing anymore. We, like my generation, need to talk about how it feels to have grown up in the wake of that, and what we think about what's going on. Okay,
Vittorio, stick around. We've got to play a piece of music. Come back. We'll talk about other things. But I'm intrigued. I'm really enjoying your company today. Vittorio Angelone is our guest today. He for ticket information, by the way, vittorioangelone.com. But you're kind of you've sold out a lot of gigs in Edinburgh. We'll talk about that in a second. Stick around. Vittorio Angelone is still with us, and really enjoying meeting you, I have to say, and enjoying shooting the breeze with you. We're talking about we share a similar local in Soho, which I mentioned. We did our show from the Devonshire, actually.
Oh, did you?
Live, yeah, St. Patrick's Day. And we had such a blast. So you must come and join us there maybe next time.
Absolutely. I've a notion to do a stand-up show in the kind of secret background.
Oh, you should? That's a great idea.
Like almost like a storytelling, sat down, just everybody around, kind of let people smoke again.
Can we in? Let's break all the laws.
Yeah.
And you're going to be touring. You're doing the Apollo around that weekend,
yes, so that the tour, the UK and Ireland tour, goes on sale mid-July, and doing Hammersmith Apollo on the tour, which feels completely mad, but very I sort of chose that venue deliberately as a representation of the new wave of comedy that I haven't done live at the Apollo, and I haven't done very much TV at all, but I can do my tour show at the Apollo. So please buy tickets so it actually sells out.
we will encourage people, but also this won't be your last visit to us here. Come and see us again, and closer to the time, and we'll keep that going. Because you said you haven't been on TV. That feels to me a really old-fashioned thing to say now.
Yeah.
Because you're so big online, whether it's TikTok or Instagram. Do you need to be on TV is the question, I suppose.
I mean, a lot of the focus of going on TV now is to get clips for the internet.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Because it's filmed so nicely, and you sort of think, oh, well, if I do live at the Apollo, then that's 10 minutes of stand-up that I can put online.
Yeah.
And more people will see it online, definitely.
Isn't that funny?
But we'll see it on.
But yet the production or the reputation of the Apollo and all the rest of it, it's all
a prestige thing. It's a prestige thing, and we're all... I mean, it's crazy because I'm very self-funded and self-starting, I'm putting out my special in the autumn of my last show, Who Do You Think You Are? I Am. That'll go out. And look, I'm going to pitch it to your Netflixes and your Channel 4s and whoever, and they'll probably all say no. And I sort of think more people will see it if I just put it on YouTube for free anyway.
Exactly.
And it's cost me tens of thousands of pounds, but you sort of go, well, have it, and then come see me on tour.
It's funny. If you were an American comedian, you'd be saying, so I'm going to pitch it to Netflix. They'll probably say yeah. And that's how it goes, because I'm really good at my job. But
no
because
chance.
you're from the same island as I'd be going, they'll probably say no.
Yeah.
We need to be more Tigger and less Eeyore.
Yes, absolutely. Get a bit of American. I back myself.
myself. And if we do this self-flagellation, I always say to my daughter, don't beat yourself up. There'll be cute people to do that for you. You know? So just go, I can do this. I think I needed that. We all need a bit of it, you know, regardless. You are a classically trained musician. I just mentioned that too. Which instrument? I
was a classical percussionist.
Okay, and did you keep it with you in any shape or form?
No, absolutely not at all. Although I do have, and I think this is the first time I'm saying this, I have a band for the show. I've got a little trad band.
A trad band?
Yeah, so they're doing the pre-show music. So when you arrive at the show, it feels like you're in the Devonshire. It feels like it's a pub. It feels like there's an atmosphere. A session.
How many of them?
3. I'll probably get more for London, but I could only afford so many of them for the tiny
So you got a fiddle?
I've got fiddle, accordion, and banjo player who also plays the whistles.
Amazing. But then you come in with what, a baron or something?
I'm working on my
percussion,
my baron chops. Yeah.
Careful with the baron. People say it's the only instrument that should be played with a knife. Just slash it. But that's for people who don't like it.
Yes.
Whereas if it's played beautifully, it's like a tribal bump.
Yes.
Bump, like Christy Moore, our old mate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you played the great venue in Dublin, which was Vicar Street, which had you had Kneecap on one side.
So I was on the Sunday. Kneecap were on the Friday, Christy Moore on the Saturday, me on the Sunday.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
This is where you are now.
I found one of their balaclavas backstage. Kneecap's not Christy Moore's.
Christian's just been on. He says, "Are you sure it wasn't mine?" Vittorio, what a pleasure to see you.
Thanks so much for having
we'll
me.
see you either in the Dev or I think on I was going to say Valentine's Day, on St. Patrick's Day. You'd be a great addition to the show if we do another live show. Join us and bring your baron with you.
Absolutely.
And we'll let the party keep going. VittorioAngelone.com for tickets. Good luck in Edinburgh. I know you're as good as sold out there. Thank you very much.
We've added a couple big extra ones on the 8th and 22nd. And I always think radio interviews are tricky for me because good luck spelling VittorioAngelone.com to everybody listening.
Let's do it. VittorioAngelone.com. How about
there
that?
we go. Pretty good.
Good luck.